long ago, like 10 years ago, I was sitting in the same seat as a student as you all today, wondering what might make an abstract good enough. Today, I'm excited to share some insights I have picked up over the years, things that I wish I knew back then. So, um, I know that writing abstract is really hard. I remember how I struggled to write it. That session is for all of you, whether you are writing your very first abstract or trying to make your research um, um, stand out. I'll walk you through practical steps and examples to help you write abstract that are clear, compelling, and effective. So today, this workshop is an interactive workshop. You get a handout. You need to work with me. By the end of the workshop, you will have the outline of your abstract to write down. So if you are worrying, no worries. We are here to help you. So today, first thing is you're going to understand about the research. So and then we're going to discuss more about the architecture of the abstract, what goes where, and then we're going to know about the audience. Understanding the audience is important things to consider when you write an abstract. The last, we're going to discuss about some writing strategies. So, so before we dive into how to write a winning abstract, let's take a step back and ask, what exactly is research? Research is a systematic process. It's not just collecting random information and putting together. We do research to solve a problem in the world. So understanding research problem is a critical part in the research. It's involving planning, collecting data carefully, analyzing it, and making sense of it with a clear purpose to answer question or solve a problem. So the purpose of research can vary depending on your field or your project. First, we do research to discover new knowledge, to learn something no one has known before. Second, we may want to test or validate existing theories. Third, research can be problem solving. You might be working to improve a food product, reduce water usage, develop a new app feature, or find ways to prevent injuries in athletes. No matter what field you are in, research is about curiosity, critical thinking, and contributing to knowledge to the society. So it is important to share your research as important as your project. One of the most valuable platforms for sharing your work and as a growing researcher is participating conferences. Whether you are just starting or already working on a project, conferences can open for everyone. Attending a conference, there you get a chance to share your knowledge and spread the ideas and findings. And whether you are in the beginning of your research or mid of the research or at the end of the research, you will have a chance to gather feedback and learn from others. And also, identify new trends is another important aspect to consider. So you can expand your expertise area. So think about that. You might not know what is going on, and you go to a conference and you find a new trend and you can go ahead. And also, you have a chance to connect with other researchers and make a collaboration with them. And also, if you have already published an article, you have a chance to promote your published article. Thus, increase the accessibility. So now let's go into today's workshop and think about what is an abstract. Abstract is the first impression for readers and reviewers. So let me put it this way. You're going to have a movie night. How do you select a movie? First, you go to whatever the platform, maybe Amazon Prime or Netflix. You go there and watch a trailer, right? It's the same way. Abstract is the trailer of your movie. Abstract is the first space which readers see. Oh, and when you have a whole lot of things back in your backside. It is a short summary of a research. Usually, it's contained like 150 to 300 words. So abstract is the thing that reader thinks, do I really want to download and read this paper? Or in the case of reviewer, they think, do I want to take a time to review the paper? So it is important to write a correct and effective abstract. So when it comes to abstract writing, there are a few parts to consider. The first thing you see is the title. And then you see the author information. So take a look at this example. This is a research paper published in Nature Foods in this April. And the title says, Soil Health Contributes to Variation in Crop Production and Nitrogen Use Efficiency. So when it's think about writing and title, there are things that I usually consider. So here today, this workshop is completely based on the standards of the Nature Journal and my experience throughout my experience in my career, as well as I have joined several seminars and workshops conducted by Nature Journal. So this whole workshop is based on them. So I want to let you know that, and I'm really happy to share that my experience with you. So let's dive into the formula to attractive title. So when you design a title, always think about the readers. What do readers want to know? I always think about three components when I write the attractive title. So variable, outcome, and sample. So ask these questions. What is the variable? What is the outcome? And what is the sample? Ask this question from you when you write the title, and you will get the attractive title. So let's go back to the title which I showed you earlier. It's Soil Health Contributes to Variation in Crop Production and Nitrogen Use Efficiency. What is the variable in here? Read it carefully. The variable is soil health. Soil health is the thing that varies. And what is the outcome? Outcome is the production and nitrogen use efficiency. And the sample is the crop. So when you understand these three components, variable, outcome, and sample, soil health, production, and nitrogen use efficiency, and in crop. So you then mix and match these three components to make a right title. So it's very simple when you understand these three components. Let's take another example. I try to get various examples from physical science to computer science and sports science. So this one is based on computer science, and this article was published recently in a computer science journal. So this says, interpretable optimization inspired unfolding network for low light image enhancement. Read it carefully, identify those three components in here. So the variable in here is the interpretable optimization inspired unfolding network. And what is the sample? Sample is low light image. And what would be the outcome? Is the image enhancement. Once you identify this component, variable, outcome, sample, it's easy. And let's go to another example. And this is another example And this article was published in Nature Material and related to physical science. So the resilience yet entirely degradable gelatin-based biogels for soaps, robes, and electronics. So what is the variable in here? Gelatin-based biogels. So what is the outcome here? Resilience yet entirely degradable. So what is the sample? It's simply soft robots and electronics. So outcome variable sample. So it doesn't need to be in an order like variable outcome sample. You can mix and match once you identify these three components. Present these components in the title above allow the readers to understand the research clearly by looking at the title. And that's where you can easily attract readers. So attractive title has some critical things to consider as well as some things to avoid. Always be clear, not clever. Write a very simple sentences and you don't have to show you are clever. You are already a scientist and you are clever. That's why you do the research. No one will ever care, oh, this person is a very good person. No one will care. You just need to write simple, clear sentences. And then include key elements, use strong words, and be very specific. And try to write the title within the 20 words. And there are things to avoid, like general words. Always avoid. General words such as interesting, study, various. I have seen so many people write that the study about anti-malarial activity, blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't say exactly an informative information. What's that study? You need to mention that. What is that study? So mention that. Don't include like these words. And also avoid questions, abbreviations. We don't put abbreviation in the title. And avoid vague words. So vague word means uncertain words. And also avoid words like new, novel. It is unnecessary to put a word like novel, new. It's because you do research and it should be novel. You don't have to say again. Everybody knows that this is a research and it should be novel. No need to put new, novel, something. And let's go to an activity. Maybe you could open the handout. So you're going to work with me. So once you finish this workshop, you have the outline of your abstract. So be prepared and mentally that you need to work with me. So open your handout, and also you can see this one in the slide. It's in the page 2. And in this activity, there are 4 different titles. Please select which one is the best title. So take 1 minute and read these titles and select which one is the best one. Maybe you could select 2 or 3, it's fine, but like just check in there. I'm gonna put a timer for 1 minute. I would appreciate if you can put an answer in the chat box. Shoshani, if the students chat in the chat box?
Yes, they should be.
Okay.
Yeah, because we already received one.
Okay.
Not for this. So
okay.
Feel free to drop your answer.
Yeah, you have 1 minute. Please say that which one is the A, B, C, D, or D, which one is the best title in here. Okay, so I still see only one answer, but time's up. I don't have time to wait. So yes, it's D is correct, and someone say B is correct. Yes, it is correct. B, okay, okay, okay. So it's good. Like B and D, um, B and D both are correct. Why both are correct? So it says effects of climate change and overfishing on neurotoxicants in marine predators. So the variable in here is climate change and overfishing. And what is the sample in here? Sample is marine predators. And what is the outcome in here? Outcome is neurotoxicants. So in the case of D, it's more specific. It says increase neurotoxicants, which means, and it is very specific. So try to write an title which is very specific like B or either D. Why A and C are not a good title? Sorry. So it's because A says characterization of climate change and overfishing on marine predators. Of course, the variable is climate change and overfishing, and marine predator is the sample, but where is the outcome? Outcome is missing in the A. And in the case of C, variable is missing. So those two are not a good title. So to write a good title, always think about those three components: variable, sample, and outcome. So now you're going to work with me to write your own title. You don't have to write your title right now, but understanding these three components is important. I'll give you 2 minutes to write down your variable components. So take 2 minutes and think about that. What is the variable in your project if you write a title, and what would be the outcome? What would be the sample? Take 2 minutes. If you are already done, maybe it's better to, you could share in the chat box, then I could see that you're moving forward. Okay, I think time's up. I hope you could able to write down some points about your variable, outcome, and sample. And I hope I know that time is not enough, but we cannot keep long here. Okay, so let's move on. Um, So now let's consider about the structure of the exam. So when you write an abstract, the first part is your title, and the second part you see that all the information, and the third part is the structure. So I go back to the same example which I showed you earlier about soil health contributes to variation in crop production and nitrogen use efficiency. So, and this is the abstract of that article. So I have divided into different colors to for you to easily understandable. So it has the abstract has four main parts. First one is the background, and the second one is methods or aims, and the third one is the results, and the fourth one is conclusion. So the abstract always has these main parts: background, methods, aims, results, and conclusion. Now the question is how to write these sections. So it's easy. In my case, I always ask these 4 WH questions. First thing is you need to think about the readers. What do readers want to know about your project? So then you can divide 4 another questions. First thing, ask why did the study need to be done? If you ask that question, you get an answer for your background and research question. So always think about these 4 questions. First one is why did the study need to be done? So you should write about background research questions here. The second question is why did you do it? So in this question, you need to answer about your aims and the method. I'll tell you one by one. And the third one is what did you find? Here you discuss your results. Whether if you have already done and you have results, you can do it. If you have not a good results, or if you are still doing, you can write about your future work. And the fourth part is how this study will advance the field. Here you discuss about conclusion and future implications. So let's go back to the abstract and consider one by one. First thing is, why did the study need to be done? So here we discuss about the background. So read this sentence carefully and you will get an idea about the background. Soil health affects both food production and environmental quality. However, quantifying its impact poses a substantial global challenge due to the scarcity of comprehensive soil health data and the complexity of discerning its effects from other variables. So when you read this sentence, you see that it's very brief, very clear, and easy to understand, right? And when you write the background, do not write more than 2 sentences. Write very simple, like soil health affects both food production and environmental quality. Simple, and it shows the background. And then you write about your aim. Research question. To write about research question, you can use some signposting words such as however. However, quantifying its impact poses a substantial global challenge due to scarcity of comprehensive soil health data and complexity of discerning its effect from other variables. So it's clearly mentioned about the background and the research questions. So the next question is, why did you do it? When you ask that question, you get an answer for the method and also aim. So here they mention that here we investigate high-resolution global data on soil, climate, and farm management practices to assess the contribution of soil health to agriculture productivity. So in this method, they mention everything like method and the aim in a 1 sentence. So you could use either 2 sentences, it doesn't matter, but write in very simple way. You can use some sentence pattern like, here we investigate to assess something. So take these 2 sentence pattern, you could use here or in the study. We used, write your method to evaluate, investigate, what is the aim, write your aim. Or you could use the other way, like here in this study, we evaluated or investigate what you aim. Using this method, write down your method. So it's when you put the things into this format, it's easy for you to write down. And next thing is the results. So here comes the most important part of your abstract. So you need to give a high content balance for the results, because results should be expressed about whole of your project. And in this case, they mention in several sentences, like they start like, we show that soil health is responsible for approximately 12% and 20% of global variation in crop production. So very specific, those sentences, like, because it's written that 12%, 22%, very specific. Do not write about like sort of things. When you write the abstract, write very specifically and very short forms. You don't have to write very long sentences to make impressions. Write in simple sentences very specifically. The fourth part is the conclusion part. So to write your conclusion or future direction, ask this question from yourself: how this study will advance the field? Then you can point out some points, like in this case they said enhancing global soil health could increase crop yield by metric ton 7.8 while reducing nitrogen surplus by metric ton 8.1 worldwide by 2050. So it's very specific. They give the figures, they give the values, and also then in the second sentence they mention about the future directions. So if you ask these 4 questions, 4 WH questions, it's easy for you to write down the abstract. First thing is you need to ask this question, take it one by one, and write down in point form. Just 1 or 2 words for 1 point, write down. And then you have the outline to write your abstract. So now you're going to do it, apply this knowledge into your project. So we have another activity. This activity is about yourself. So think about that. Turn the page 3 in your handout and work with me right now, because at the end of the workshop, you have the outline. When you go home, you have the outline. At the home, you just need to write down your sentence. So after this activity, I'll tell you things you need to consider when you write down the sentences. So in this activity, you don't have to write whole sentences. No need to write. You don't have time. Just point, 1 point. Why did you study? Why this study need to be done? Write a 1 point or 2 point. Likewise, let's go one by one. I'll give you 2 minutes for each task. In total, 8 minutes. So let's start first 2 minutes. Think about it. Think about why did the study need to be done? Write down point form. Maybe if you could share in the chat if you have identified, that would be great. I can comment on it. Okay, time starts. Take 2 minutes to write down for the first question. Okay, so I hope you write down some points about your why did the study need to be done. So let's move on to the second question. Why did you do it? Simply just write 1 or 2 points about the method and the aim. Just 1 point for aim, 1 point for method. It's simple. What did you investigate? Simple. Okay, time starts now. Okay, so I hope you could able to write down something. And let's move on to the third one. What did you find? It's the same way. Take 2 minutes and write about what did you find about your results. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The last one, how this study will advance the field. So think about your research and think about the conclusion. Maybe just 1 point about your like what finding the outcome, and maybe what can you put in for the future? Just 2 points. Take 2 minutes to write down it. That's going to be the last question. Okay, time's up. So I hope you have some points to consider in this 4 questions. So once you have created some point for each of the sections, you are already created the outline of your abstract. So now you just need to write down your ideas into this backbone because you already created your backbone. So now let me tell you how to, like, things you need to consider when you write the sentences, when you put your ideas into sentences. So let's move on first. Okay, so after the abstract, the next thing you need to consider about the keywords. So what is keywords? Keywords are 3 to 6 words or phrases that reflects main idea of your research. And it's help index your abstract in databases and symposium booklets. And the keywords are the things that make your work searchable to others and easy to find. Optimizing the searchability of your article can increase the visibility. So there are things that to consider when choosing a correct keywords. If you go to PubMed and search some keywords, for example, you go to PubMed and give a search within the 2020 to 25 and type food as a keyword. When you write your abstract, if you put a keyword as a food, if you are doing some food research, you will get like over 500,000 articles. But what if you specific and put some as an example, food preservation? You get like 9,000 articles. So that's increased your searchability. Because if you have so many articles, over 500,000, how can reader find your particular article? It could be maybe at the end of the article list. So you need to bring up your article to the front. So similarly, in computer science, if you just go and type algorithm, right now, if you search in the PubMed, you get over 300,000 articles. And if you specific and write down like Python-based algorithm, you get only 216 articles. And similarly, like in the fitness case, sports science case, if you type just write as a fitness in your abstract. And now if you check it, you get over 40,000 articles. And if you write down a specific word like cardiorespiratory fitness, you get only 4,000, around 4,000 articles. So when you select a correct keyword, be aware that and use specific words related to your study. And here are some tips to improve searchability of your article. This is not only too abstract. This is also about when you write a manuscript to a journal. So first thing is identify 6 to 8 keywords and then go and search in the database like PubMed, NIH, or Google Scholar. So, and based on the availability, select a 6 to 8 best keywords according to your research. And then take 2 and put it in your title. If you put at least 1 in your title, that's increase your searchability. And take another 4 to 6 keywords and put it in your keyword list. So you don't have to put all 8, but you can at least take 6 keywords. Put in 4 in the keyword list and put at least in the 1. And from 1 from the title and 2 from the keyword list and put it in your abstract and use those 3 keywords 3 to 4 times in the abstract. So what will happen when you put your keywords everywhere in your abstract and title? So right now, according to this strategy, you get 1 or 2 keywords in your title and at least 3 to 4 2 keywords in from the keyword list in the abstract. It's used in 3 to 4 times. When you go and search in the PubMed, your articles comes first. Otherwise, it will be in the end of the list. So this is one of strategy I use to increase the searchability of manuscript when I publish in articles. So you could use the same strategy to put it in your abstract. So now let's move on a little bit and let's discuss about writing tips. So when you write, always use clear and concise language. Use more active voice. Avoid complex words. Use one idea per one sentence. Use strong words. And always revise. I'm sorry about the background noise. My daughter just wake up. Okay, so let's move on. Let's discuss one by one. Use clear and concise language always in your abstract. So once you write down your sentences, think about and go back and think. Can you delete the word or words without changing the meaning of the sentence? If you can delete it. Please delete those words. No need to put those words if you cannot give the same idea. So these are some of the examples that you can avoid. Like for example, it is well known that the most of intense different peaks. So if you delete, it is well known that still the idea is there. So just delete it. And as a matter of fact, we found a higher level of expression. If you delete, as a matter of fact, nothing will happen to your sentence. The idea is still there. Just delete it. And a number of studies have shown that neuronal migration is. Number of studies have shown that you can delete it. And in the same way, like some people say, it is worth mentioning that the policy implementation is. Again, you can delete it, it's worth mentioning that. On the other hand, some people write like something as described in our previous study. So do not use like this kind of words in the abstract. You can always delete in our previous study, like it doesn't give a value to your abstract. But you can mention in not in the abstract, but in the manuscript, but do not put these unnecessary words in the abstract. And also use concise words over phrases. When you write your abstract, like you could write, that is another reason why. Just delete it. Instead, write therefore. In order to investigate. Most of the people write in order to investigate. Just delete it. Just simply write to investigate. Despite the fact that you can simply write although. It is clear that, clearly, it is possible that, possibly, it is interesting to know that, write it simply interestingly. Due to the fact that, because, in the event that, if, in the process that, write a simple way, just during. These are very simple words that you could use over the other phrases. And then you could use some signpost words and phrases. For an example, if you want to contrast or compare the things, you could use however, whereas, on the other hand, nevertheless, although, yet, despite, in contrast to, by contrast. And also, if you compare the similarity, you could use likewise, similarly, also, as well. And if you want to add something like additionally, furthermore, moreover, and then when you compare the results, you could use therefore, consequently, thus, as a result of, due to, because of. So these are some of the signposts that you can bring your abstract more attractable and more effective. So there is another activity. So we could do this one together. So read these two sentences carefully and think about what's wrong in here. There's something missing. Can you identify what's that? It says high intensity interval training and continuous endurance training are two popular exercise methods used to improve cardiovascular fitnesses and metabolic efficiency. These have an effect on athletes' VO2 max and recovery times. Do you feel that something missing in here? It is, right? When you write sentences in the abstract, clear explanation is the key point. Here, it says this. What this means? Is it high interval training or continuous endurance training, or cardiovascular fitness or metabolic efficiency? It is not clear, right? So these type of words, that, this, those, these, they, it. So these are unclear subjects. When you use the unclear subjects, be aware that use specific things like you could use these trainings. When you put instead of these trainings, it's give the meaning, right? So this training refers to the high HIIT training and continuous endurance training. So unless if you don't specify, it's hard to readers to understand what you are trying to emphasize. On the other hand, qualitative words, some, most, about, few, these are considered as a qualitative words. When you write a few of water samples collected from maybe Samanala area. So how many is few? Be specified. Write about how many, what percentage, 10%, 5%, 20%? No, you need to write down only specific things. For example, only 12% of the water samples collected from the Samanala area shows maybe high magnesium or something. So always be aware about that subjective words and the qualitative words. Be specific, always be specific. The next thing is when you consider writing abstract, you need to consider about use more active voice. Active voice is usually recommended because it is more simple, very clear, direct, and easy to read. Passive voice is still acceptable, but it's less clear and engaging. For an example, in the case of computer science, like you could put like the algorithm was developed to improve image clarification accuracy. The idea is there, the grammatically correct. I don't say it's incorrect, it is correct. But read about the active form. We developed the algorithm to improve image clarification accuracy. It's easy to understand, right? It is clear. It is more clear than the passive voice. So that is why the majority of the journals right now is prefer active voice rather than using passive voice. For example, nature journals people prefer authors to write in active voice. Also, some writing style guidelines like APA, Chicago, so they also prefer active voice in writing manuscript, abstract, or symposium abstract. So does that mean that avoid passive voice always? Not at all. No, we should not avoid. You could use 70% of the active voice and 20% of the passive voice. Passive voice still useful to avoid repetition, to avoid unclear relationship. Mostly you could use passive voice in the method selection. And to maintain the sentence structure, you could use the passive voice. It's okay to use the passive voice, but it is highly recommended to use more active voice in the journals because it's easy to catch. And the other thing is you need to consider use strong words like estimate, decide, confirm, correlate, investigate. So those are strong words that you can put in your abstract. For an example, this sentence, we perform an investigation to determine the anti-malarial activity of methanolic extract from selected medicinal plants, blah, blah, blah things. So we perform an investigation to determine. It's a long sentence. Instead of that, you could simply write down, we investigated the anti-malarial activity of methanol extractor. It's simple. Just put a strong word like investigate. And always avoid complex pattern. Your research, your ideas, and your findings are already complex. No need to make more complex. Always use simple words to express the complex idea. People know that the scientists are always good and they do complex words. You don't have to put like additional lots of words to make your the research more complex to show that I have done it. God, oh my God, my research was very complex. Everything is complex. No need to write them again. For an example, this says, to ascertain whether gene expression was higher in tumors than in normal tissue, the data was carefully analyzed with the appropriate methods. In simple way, you could use, we determine whether gene expression was higher in tumors than in normal tissue. It's simple and elegant, it's easy to understand. So consider these points when you write your sentences, your ideas into sentences. And finally, revise. Always read loud. I still do reading loud because I could find mistakes when I read loud. So please do, once you craft your abstract, read loud, and then you will be able to find out some mistakes. And then second important thing is check grammar. So we are not native English speakers, so we always do some grammar mistakes. So go back to your abstract, read it, and check the grammar and correct it. So there are multiple platforms that you could use to check to grammar. For example, Grammarly, you could download freely and to your Word document, and then while you're typing your abstract, so it gives some suggestions to improve your grammar. Also, there are online platforms like DeepL. You could copy and paste there. These are freely available softwares. So you can copy and paste, and then it will give some suggestions to improve your grammar and also sentence pattern. And the last, review from colleges, also important thing. So once you craft your abstract, give it to co-authors and let them know that you have done a job, and ask them to review your abstract. So that way you could get a more attractive abstract. So, and also please share with friends that not familiar with the project. So if they can understand your project, that's a good way. That's a good abstract because everyone can understand. So always make sure to use simple words that everyone can understand. So today in this workshop, we discuss about understanding about the research. We discuss about what is research, and then we discuss about the abstract architecture, what goes where. So in the abstract, there are a few things in order. First thing is the title. So we discuss how to write a title. There are three components when you write when you consider writing title. First one is variable, outcome, and sample. Understand these components and put in mix and match, and that will create your title. And it is the easiest formula that I use to write my title for manuscript and abstract and everything. And then you have author contribution, author information, and then the abstract. In the abstract, there are 4 parts. First one is the background and the research question. The second one is the method or aims, and then third one is results, and the fourth one is conclusion. So when you write these 4 sections, do not start just without thinking further. Just ask those first 4 questions which I gave you, and point out some points. Write down some points, 1 or 2 words. Just write down, and then you will have the outline. Based on those outlines, craft your sentences. Use those sentence pattern which I gave you in the method section. And the third one is understanding your audience. It's very important. We discuss about, think always from the reader side, audience side, what do your reader wants to know from about your research. And we discuss about writing strategies, and I hope that this today workshop bring you joy, and I help you to write a good abstract. So yeah, it's time to have question time. So feel free to ask any questions if you have. And this is my email address. Write it down. If you want to contact me after this workshop, feel free to contact me. I'll try my best to reply email. And yeah, that's about it. And I hope you all enjoy the workshop today. And yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you so much, Rishni. Wow, it was very informative talk. Even I had several tips to learn from you today. So thank you so much. And we know you are you're in a very busy schedule, and still you had like joined us in this session. So I think there was a question in the chat. If you can see, it was about the using of. Let me see. Let me read it out for you. Is it advisable to use subjective pronouns in abstracts while using active forms? I mean, yeah.
Yes, it's okay to use them.
Right. So
like for one more thing, like when like when you write your thesis, you always write it in the passive voice, but in the abstract, you could use active voice. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Rishni. I hope your question was answered, Shamil. Yeah. So thank you so much, Rishni, once again. So it was a very informative and insightful lecture. Even I learned something. So I'm sure our students who joined, we had a good participation. We had over 80 students at a point, and some of them have, like several of them had joined from one. So it was a good participation from the students, and I hope you all learned a lot today. So the deadline is next week. And I hope you will use all these tips that you learned today and submit your abstracts. So thank you so much, Rishni, once again for joining with us. It was so
You
lovely
were,
seeing you after a long time.
yeah,
And,
after a long time here. And
and we hope to
yeah,
see you again at SES.
it was lovely to meet you all. And thank you